Hi everyone, this is Melanie. I'm in the craft room with a Creatively Crafted Life, and today I have a little bit of a different video. We're going to be starting a new series on our channel talking about budget stamping or budget card making, budget crafting, that kind of thing. And so what I've done is I've gone to a couple different places and done some quote-unquote budget shopping to see what I could find that was relatively inexpensive but what still works. And I'm going to show you today what I purchased at the Dollar Tree. So everything you see in front of me came to a total of $18.72 with taxes, and everything was $1. So let's go through what I bought and I'll explain some of my thought processes about it. So first of all, the very first thing you're going to wonder is, why on earth did you buy some paper cups? Well, I don't know if you have heard of the craze that's going on in the YouTube world, but it's called paint pouring, and I thought that would be kind of fun to give this a try with some inexpensive products and see how that worked, and so I needed some cups for that. I'll do that experiment, I think 1 week coming up, and let you see how it goes. I also bought, not included here, one of those aluminum tins. That's also included in $18, just so that I have an area to capture all the paint as it's pouring out. So that's what that is. In keeping with that, I also bought some of this Mod Podge. This was $1. It's 2 fluid ounces. I'm not sure if this is a bargain at the Dollar Tree or not. I need to do a comparison. Like if you bought a big bottle at, say, Michael's or Joann's and used like your 40% off coupon, I have a suspicion that that might be more economical than buying this little jar. So that's something to keep in mind. Not everything is inexpensive at the dollar store. Just because it's $1 doesn't mean you can't get it elsewhere for cheaper. So that's just something to keep in mind. I did purchase these 2 clear repositionable glue sticks. Again, they were $1, so 50 cents a piece. Again, I'm not entirely convinced this is the best deal out there, but I did buy it so that I would have that in my little arsenal. Coloring mediums. I purchased these markers. There's 20 of them for $1. I have no idea if these are going to work very well or not. So at the end of the video, I will pull out a piece of paper and we'll give these a test and see how they work. To go with the paint pouring experiment soon to come, I purchased these little tubs of poster paint, 6 colors for $1. I also purchased this paint set. Again, I have no idea what the quality of this is, so I'm going to test that out as well and let you know if it's worth $1 or not. I'm pretty sure the paintbrush that comes here will not be worth anything, and that brings up to mind something else that I want to talk about. So as I put together this little kit for our series of budget crafting, there may be some items that I incorporate that I think are worth spending a little bit of extra money on, just because of the quality and how much use you'll get of them. So an example would be a really good versatile black ink pad. So one that you can use for things like alcohol markers, for watercolor, for just regular stamping. To me, something like that that's multi-purpose, you know, it may be worth paying $5 or $6 for the ink pad, but then you're going to have it for years to come. So just keep that in mind over the next course of this series. I was surprised they actually had wood-mounted stamps, so I picked up 3 of them. Again, each one of these was $1. So a butterfly, a cupcake, and a heart, which I think are all very versatile images. We'll give them a test as well to see how well they stamp at the end of the video. The other thing, especially if you're into card making, that I thought would be kind of cute is to use these stickers. They are dimensional, and you could easily get multiple cards out of each pack. So look for future videos to feature those. I also purchased these foam sheets. Now they do have texture on them, and there's a couple of things that I thought these could be used for. So one, it could be used for adding dimension to your card projects or scrapbooking, whatever it is you do. But I'm also curious to see if this texture translates. So if you treat this like an ink pad, or not ink pad, like a stamp, would you be able to get the image of these over onto your paper. So that might be another experiment coming soon. I had a hard time finding paper. I know, in my particular Dollar Tree there wasn't really much in the way of cardstock or construction paper or anything like that, which I was quite shocked at. So I picked up these manila folders, and if nothing else I can use them for card bases. And I also thought, because manila folders tend to be a little bit thicker and they tend to have a coating on it, that it might work really well for the paint pouring. So that's why I purchased those. I did come across some glitter paper. I have not opened this package, so I have no idea what the quality of this is, but let's have a look. I'm hoping the glitter doesn't come off, which it looks like it shouldn't, but we'll give this the rub test and see. Looks pretty good, you guys. It's pretty smooth. So that's pretty cool. In this particular sheet you get, or package, you get 3. You get the gold, silver, and red. It does feel pretty thick. I don't know if you'd be able to punch through here. And I do not think it's adhesive backed. No, it does not look like it's adhesive backed. No, it's definitely not. So I thought that would be cute to make your own embellishments. And then I did run across some poster board, again thinking card bases or something along that line. So that, everybody, was what I got at the Dollar Tree, and I will demo the paint and the markers here shortly. Okay, so let's start out with the paint palette. As suspected, the paintbrush that came with the kit is not very good. It's like plastic bristles, so not worth even trying to use. If you're looking for a good option, these brushes by Ranger, I think they come with 3 or 4 in a pack. They're not that terribly expensive. They're pretty good quality for the price that you pay. Actually, they're really good quality for what you pay. Again, it's another one of those things where if you're going to spend your money, this is a tool that will last you a very long time if you take care of it, and is worth spending the money on it. And like I said, they're not like artist quality brushes, so they're not like, you know, $30 for a brush. So they are a good option, a good budget option. I have some cardstock here. I think this is just Canson XL cardstock, and let's see what we get. Now these do feel a little chalky, so you know, we'll have to see what happens. I'm gonna skip over the white, and let's just ink these up. Just add some water to them, get them loosening up a little bit, and then we'll do a paint swatch just to see how they turn out. Michaels has a brand called The Loft. I think it's their own in-house brand, and they have an inexpensive watercolor palette too. I think it's like about $4 or $5, and that's pretty good. I mean, it is a little bit chalky, but you know what, for like making cards and stuff like that, it's just fine. Like, really, what more do you need, right? And I know people like Amy Tangerine use it for brush lettering and stuff too, so that's another option. Not bad. Let's try the pink. I think we need a little more water. So again, I paid just $1 for this palette. Hopefully you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more. We'll see how these colors dry too. They're definitely not like artist grade, but that's not what we're going for here, right? We're going budget. Budget friendly. Enough so that I can get my crafting in and not feel like I'm breaking the bank. Oh, that's a pretty color. Actually, the colors are pretty good. I'm quite impressed. I did not think they would okay, the red's a little Red's a little weak. Let's see if we add some more. There we go. I did not have high hopes for these, so that's encouraging. Okay. They are maybe not as translucent as most people would like for real, you know, real watercolor work, but again, for just card making and stuff like that, I think this is pretty good. Yeah, not bad. So I'm going to hold this up. Let me see if I can do the brown and the black on the side here. And then we'll try and do some color blending maybe on another piece. And then we'll let that dry and we'll come back and see how it looks. So just right now, that's what that looks like. Okay. And let's see if we can do some color blending. I'm just going to put a piece of scrap paper down because this piece is teeny tiny. And let's see, what are we going to go from? So I'm just going to lay some color down on my cardstock so that we have a nice wet surface to blend into. And I am making this pretty wet. And let's start with the red. I'll go down about maybe just over a third. I am getting some warping, but that's because of how much water I put down. Okay, and now let's go into the yellow. And we'll start here and we'll blend up. Go down. Okay, and then we'll go into the blue. And I think we'll start down here and we'll blend up. Maybe add a little more yellow. Not bad, you guys. Not bad for $1. I mean, it's not a nice even salt. You get some granularity, I guess is what they call it when you get that spotting. But again, for an overall look, you know what? I think I can make this work. I think I can make this work. So let's see how this dries and we'll come back to it in a little bit. So moving away from the watercolors, let's see how the markers work. Now I have some smooth cardstock here. I think this is from Stampin' Up. And these are the Jot markers. Fine line, it says assorted colors. Let's see what we got going on here. So we'll start with the purple and work our way down and see what we get. Okay. So not super juicy, but not dry, which is good. They are pretty fine tip though, so if you were going to color in an image or something, it'll probably take you a little bit. Let's try this purple. Yeah, it is a pretty fine tip. It's going to take you a long time to color. So if you want something with a little more of a broader tip, this is probably not the best pen out there for you. Let's see what this greeny color looks like. But you know what? Not bad. I was really expecting these to be very scratchy and very, very dry. Now, I don't know how long these would last you. No idea. But you know what? Another option that's really good, and I know that they tend to last a while and are super juicy, are the Crayola markers. And I know you can get those relatively inexpensive at places like Target and Walmart and that kind of stuff, especially around back to school time. So something to keep in mind. Yeah, so they seem to write okay. Not bad. Again, I'm a little impressed. I honestly had no high hopes for these at all. I thought they were just not going to be any good at all. Okay, so I am curious though, if I take one of the stamps, can I stamp with these? So let's give that a try. Because really that's what I was looking at, was how can I use the ink from the markers to stamp. So let's give this a try and we'll see how it works. So I'm just kind of using the side of the marker as much as I can to color this in. Now obviously if you had a stamp pad, this is going to go way quicker and way easier than what I'm doing here. But again, if you're just starting out and you don't want to invest a lot of money into something like this, this is an economical way to get a lot of color with spending very little money. As I said, for the whole set it was only $1, so that's pretty good to get 20 colors of ink, right? If this works. We'll have to see. So I just did the light pink on the main heart, and maybe let's do this darker purpley pink color for the exterior hearts. Now the trick with using markers on rubber stamps is that you do have to do what we call huff on it. So this will dry a little bit, so in order to make sure that you get the best coverage when you turn around to stamp this, what you're going to do is once you finish coloring, is you're just going to hold it up to your mouth and lightly breathe on it. Okay, you do have to watch the caps go back on properly. So again, you're just going to hold it up to your mouth and give it a nice little huff or like nice little breath. And then we'll see how this works. Fingers crossed. Not bad. You see? Not bad for $1. For $1 ink pad. Let's, while we're experimenting, let me get a real ink pad and see how much of a difference we get. I'll be right back. Okay, so I grabbed an ink pad. I'm just going to clean this one up. I'm just using a baby wipe. If you have like a chamois or an absorber or something like that, that works really well too to clean your ink, the ink off your stamps. So we do that. We'll open up this ink pad. Now again, I think ink pads are a great investment because they do last you a long time. But I understand when you're first starting out that, you know, if you want all the colors, it's a little expensive. The other thing that a lot of manufacturers are doing is they're now bringing out what they call ink cubes. They look something like this, and it's usually about 1/3 of the cost of something like that. So it's a great way, again, to get a more economical it's a more economical way to increase your stamp supplies and get more ink colors that you want. Okay, so let's give this a try. I'm going to ink that up nice and juicy, and we'll just stamp here. So as you can see, you get a slightly better impression using an ink pad just because you've got more ink being applied in an even manner. But not bad, right? Like, I mean, I still had a little bit of splotchiness here, but if I had just paid a little more attention and colored that in, not bad at all. So overall, I think these are a win so far. Let's see how our samples turned out. Oops, I accidentally laid the pen on them. So these are dry. As you can see, they are pretty chalky. Okay, so they are not like a watercolor, like an artist color I can't even speak, an artist watercolor. So they do have a chalky finish to them. But you know what? I think in a pinch, it'll get the job done, and I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do with this. They will be opaque too, so I think you're going to have to watch the lines and stuff like that on your stamped images to see how they turn out, but we'll give that a try. The one that I did with the watercolor, oh boy, that was my fault. I laid the plastic from the markers on there, but it's kind of cool actually. So that might be a technique you want to try with these. But it looks pretty good. At least you got some variation in color. It is not a solid wash by any stretch of the imagination. And again, I think it's going to be a little chalky when it's finished. But anyways, in conclusion, I think I can work with these. And so these will go in my budget bin for when I want to do, you know, want to show you guys some crafty alternatives that are a little more friendly on the wallet. So anyways, that's all I have to show you for today. I do have another crafty haul coming up from Target, showing you what stuff I was able to purchase there, and also one from Joann's. So stay tuned for those. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on them, and leave any comments below of crafty, budget crafty items you've located, where you found them, and if you're happy with them or if they're not any good. Okay, we'll talk to you later, and until next time, happy crafting.